we are going to discuss some of the biggest problems and dangers you will have to worry about when it comes to dealing with white women. So let's get started. So I'm going to combine the first two. The first one is finding out in the relationship, later into the relationship, that this woman is actually racist. And also, even outside of that, and even worse a little bit, is finding out that her family is racist. Now, the way I was going to do this video, I was going to get a bunch of articles and all that stuff. But for this first point, for everything, I mean, I took days because the day that he dropped that video, I began to record this. And then for days, I couldn't find the article to go with this point. So we not even doing no articles. You're just going to have to trust me when it comes to this information. Now, as far as her being racist, I don't have to go deep on that. If you are a self-respecting male, especially a black male in this case, you are not going to continue to be with a woman that disrespects you on that level. But even worse, it can be at your detriment if this is how she feels. But really, when we look at this, the way that I look at it, it's going to be just really two things as far as this. It's going to be one, you're being disrespected on a racial level. That's something that you'll have to expect. But number two, your views may not align unless you are a super Sambo, Uncle Tom motherfucker. And it's just like, you just hate all black people as a black person. Like, you're not going to be aligned at some point. At some point, she's going to go against the grain as far as you or your people is concerned. So those are the only two things you really have to worry about with that. Unless you have a kid buyer. Now that opens up a whole nother door of issues. Like, okay, I've seen a black dad having issues with the white mom because of how the hair was being done, and she didn't like certain things that were being done with the hair, and black girls' hair, all that stuff. But listen, she could end up in a Logic situation. If you know Logic has a black dad, a white mom. The dad left, very stereotypical, but the mom resented the dad and she was racist. And she would even call Logic the N-word with the hard R. So with that being said, that is something that could not just be a detriment to you, it could be a detriment to your kids. Now, this is the other thing. If she has a racist family, that is actually a little bit worse, because when it comes to them, especially if it's males or anything like that, they may be more compelled to physically harm you, depending on the situation. What I was trying to find that I could not find was an article where there was a guy who was going to a college. He had a white girlfriend. The white girlfriend was Mormon. He wasn't. They went back to like Utah or something. I could not find this article for nothing, man. I really tried to find this article. Could not find it. But he went back to Utah for the break and something happened. I can't remember if he disappeared or if he wound up dead. But he went back to visit her family and never came back. That's what happened. And when you have situations like that where the family doesn't like black people, you could be in a crazy situation. When it comes to dealing with black women, you don't have to deal with that at all, not just for the color of your skin and you just existing. We could even just paint the worst picture and just say, okay, you dating a black woman and her family is heavy into crime. If they're heavy, you could even say that the guy is a kingpin or dad is a kingpin and stuff like that. Because I know guys who have been in that situation. They may do some of the intimidation stuff that most guys do as far as brothers and fathers and things like that. But it's not going to go far. They don't hate you inherently just because you exist, or they hate people like you or not. It's not that deep. That's just typical protection of their daughter or sister or whatever the case may be in that situation. And even then, I don't think that they're going to jump the gun and string you up for nothing. as where if you were dealing with somebody as far as a racist family, that is definitely a possibility. The whole movie Get Out is about that, and it's a fiction, but there are a lot of things like that. So let's move on. You pretty much get that point. Now this one right here, this is the second set of shit. This is the one. Essay allegations. The thing about this is you don't even have to be black to deal with this. And I wish that there was like a statistic. I didn't even look or try and check or anything like that. But I wish that there was a statistic for this as far as, how many false allegations go out there from women by race. Because I would love to believe, I'm not going to lie to you, from what I've seen, I would think the white women are leading the pack something crazy. Because the amount of college football players who have dealt with fake allegations is insane. It is absolutely insane. Even off campus and everyday life is something that you see, is something that I seen early in the game. A train got ran on a chick in an abandoned house. Everybody knew what she be on and stuff like that. But when they started telling the story around the hood and stuff like that, and her reputation got out there, guess what? They went to jail. They went to jail. And to contrast that, you know how many trains got ran on black chicks in the same hood that I'm talking about, where nobody went to jail, nobody claimed that they were a victim or anything like that, no matter what happened to their reputation? There's a difference. And when it comes to this is something that's universal. I already mentioned college football players and stuff like that. You could look into all types of shit when it comes to that. And like I'm saying, this is universal. I don't live nowhere near Boston, but Patrice O'Neal is from Boston. And he has a story of when he pretty much was with some guys and ran a train on a white chick when he was a teenager. And what happened, you can go and find that story. He tells it on Opie and Anthony. I'll dumb it down. Very simple. They ran a train. Everything was good. Somebody was running around, running their mouth. And it was more than likely, if memory served me correct, one of the guys who didn't get none. And he was running around slandering her name. So what did she do once her people found out? She didn't take accountability. She didn't own up to it. She played victim. And guess what happened? Angry brother is going around trying to kill these guys. And also they went to the cops. What did Patrice's mom do? She was smart. She got this motherfucker out the state type shit. She got him out of here, bro. He was gone until everything began to get sorted out. And then she brought him back, but they had to get everything sorted out before, they just had him in the mix because it was bad. But I'm not going to go deep on this. I may go deep on this concept I'm about to say right now in another video. But listen, when it comes to white chicks who like black dudes, I categorize them three ways. And it's by music. In music and aesthetic and things of that nature. Because it lets me know what culture they subscribe to and things of that nature. So I break it down like this, and you might not know any of these people, but you figure out what rapper they like, and if they like somebody that is in alignment with MGK, that's one type of white chick. That's like a Vans Warped Tour. She likes Linkin Park and all that shit. Boom. So you got that type of person. From poverty and stuff like that. Might be from a trailer park, not really rich. You then have the Kevin Gates fans, which if they like somebody like Young Dolph or any street rapper like Gucci Mane, if that's the stuff they into, they are a white hood rat. They are a white hood rat. And then what is the middle? What is the middle? I call the middle the Drake fans. Because Drake is one of the biggest crossover rap artists ever and stuff like that. He's mixed. And Drake fans, as far as women, they got a whole different aesthetic and stuff like that. And this is what I look at them as, and this is how I classify them. Those are the women who are not from the hood, don't really, you know, dabble in black culture, you know, they might be real pretty and stuff like that, but they just they just like a little bit of nigga shit, man. They just like a little bit of black culture. They just dabble in it just a little bit. And this is what it is, man. And this is how come you see this shit happen on colleges and things like that. What it is these chicks, I hate to say this, but they fetishize BBC, Black Hawk. They will deal with a black guy because they want to have the sexual experience and stuff like that. But the issue, and this is what you got to look for, because this is going to, keep you away from a lot of these issues. These are the chicks, again, who don't come from anywhere where black people be at, or the black community. They don't really have no black friends as far as women and stuff like that. They don't know much about black culture or anything like that. But when it comes to guys, they might date some white guys here and there. They might date even some Hispanics or something like that. But they will also date black guys. But it's just like, that's where it stops. The interest in black people is strictly on black men, and they don't have anything to do with anything black. Some people look at this as something good. Some people actually seek these types of chicks out, and all of these chicks are not bad. But when you have these situations that I'm talking about, like fake essay allegations, the stuff that I'm going to mention in the future, or even, covert racism that comes out later and stuff like that, if she is not intertwined with black people to any extent, and you are just like really her exclusive black experience outside of other cocks that she's done, other black cocks that's bad. That's a recipe for disaster in the future. And when you think about that, being that she's not around black culture, she doesn't fuck with any black people, she doesn't have any black female friends or anything like that, that kind of signifies the environment that she comes from. Do you think that her people are going to be, as far as her family, do you think that they're going to be very intertwined with black people in the black community? Do you think that they're going to be like, oh, yeah, great, you got a black guy. Yeah, we're used to that. Like, no. So that's where the opportunity for these things begins to happen. So when something does happen, like, oh, yeah, her name is getting ran around campus and all. Oh, yeah. Because one thing I have heard, which, I don't talk to any white people who think like this, so I can't verify this. It's not something I've experienced as far as what I'm about to say, but there are a lot of guys, and matter of fact, I seen some of this stuff I seen some of this rhetoric on the internet. But like, if they find out that a chick is messed with one black guy, she's tainted, it's over, forget about it. She don't gotta have a kid by it. If black cock even touched that vagina, even with a condom, you're done. It's over. Matter of fact, Myron being in racist spaces and stuff like that. So I was watching a video related to him. It might have been from Abba and Preach or somebody. I can't remember, man. But these cats was in there. They was basically talking about, like, they would go crazy if, one of their daughters was to date a black guy. Like, they would just destroy everything, basically. So not only does that go hand in hand with number one, but this is what you got to understand about everything that I said that led up to this point. What do you think if she knows that about her dad and her family? Do you think that she is going, like, do you think she's going to take this moment to be courageous, especially about a guy that she hasn't committed to? Like, she's, oh, yeah, I did this, and yeah, I'm owning up to it, and it was consensual and everything is good, just so she could be shitted on by her family? No, she would rather play the victim so that she doesn't get the scrutiny, so that she still gets the acceptance from her dad and her family and stuff like that. But you take the fall, and the fall could be a bullet. So listen, that's that. Again, you could deal with fake essay allegations when it comes to black women, but the whole dynamic is completely different. And that's how come, honestly, it is far less likely, from my experience, from what I've seen, from what's out there, it is far less likely. And before I move on, I even thought the dog on some real shit. I've even seen videos, multiple videos, where they even got footage of the chick on camera inside the bar, then outside the bar, like initiating kisses with this dude and all types of stuff, getting a dude arrested for a hookup. Getting a dude arrested for a hookup, saying, he forced himself on her and stuff like that. And it'd be fake. But the guys that I'm mentioning in these situations are white guys. So that's something that even happens even with that. I don't get it, but when it comes to the black side, I've explained how the psychology works and how things break down. And one last thing that I will mention, because you could consider this air quote sexual harassment, the whole Emmett Till thing. You should know about that. If you don't know about that, look it up. Even though that is so long ago, it is horrendous. It is tragic. But again, things like that is still possible for similar things to happen, even if you just get beat up. Now, like I mentioned at the top of this, we're only touching on some of the most crucial, explosive dangers that you need to be cautious of. And this one is one of the biggest. Domestic violence, police, and vigilantes. I am not going to drag this. I will try and make it very simple for you. We're at what, 21 minutes? We'll be done by 25. Listen. You putting your hands on a woman in general, that's a no-no. We know that. But what about when a chick puts her hands on you? Now, when it comes to any man, if you engage in domestic violence with a woman, as far as like her hitting you and you decide to hit back, you cooked. It don't matter. You cooked. And even then, when it comes to calling the police and things like that, you're still cooked. And I just want to be clear. Black chicks beat up dudes too. Let's just get that out the way. And it's not all or the majority. When it comes to all of this, I'm not saying all or the majority do this, but these are the potential things that you have to worry about. And some of them you don't have to worry about with a black chick. But this is the thing about this that you have to know. These chicks know that if the police are called, they're coming out on top regardless. So that's the first thing. They know that they're coming out on top regardless. The second thing is, being that there is no repercussion, they may even go as far as killing you. Now, that might sound ridiculous, but in the past 5 years, there were 2 cases. They had the one where the police chick went in and shot the dude, that was her boyfriend or whatever. He was like some type of African, his family forgave her. It was just the court case was so nasty. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot find the name again. We don't got no articles, but I do got one for you. The OnlyFans model that killed her boyfriend and stuff like that. And she had a history of domestic violence, and it was documented, it was recorded, et cetera, et cetera. Now listen, they was about to let her get away with it, man. They were about to let her get away with it. I don't know what made them decide much, much later to charge her for murder, But listen, we went over the woman and the dangers of that, the pinnacle of danger is being killed. But then you have the other end, which is the police, which I already mentioned. They're taking her side. You going to jail. You're going to have to sit down. We not about to go deep on vigilantes because I'm going to be honest, man. All that is the same thing that we already mentioned, which is family members coming in, trying to kill you as well. That's really it. So we don't got to go deep on that. So when you look at this whole video and everything that I mentioned, this does not mean there are no good white women out there. This does not mean that all or most white women are like this, but you have to know how to look for this shit. And you have to also be aware that no matter, even if you look for this shit, some of this stuff is just a possibility. And the one thing I did want to add is, you know how I did the types of white chicks and stuff like that. There are more types of white chicks than that, but I would still put them into one of those three categories. For example, if you got an Erica Badu ass fucking yoga doing white chick and stuff like that, I'm going to put her towards the Kevin Gates side. And the reason I say that is because she might not be a white hood rat, but she's like a white earth tone fucking woke like type chick. And I'm not talking about like the woke, like how like, you know, the media has and politicians and stuff like that have taken it and twisted it and shit like that. I'm talking about black woke. I'm talking about motherfuckers that burn incense in the crib and no supreme mathematics, like black woke, not the bastardized version that people have put out there for, you know, people who support gays and shit like that. It's that's not woke. That's not real woke. But yeah, so anyways, that's all I got for you today, man. I had to do this video. I had to cut it. Let me know your thoughts. I am gone.